Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. It's your favorite history teacher back at you again with another historical video. And today we start a new unit, well, not necessarily new topics, but we're talking about different places in the world. Um, and it's kind of like a little reverse because some of the things that we're going to talk about are were going on during the Cold War. And I know we just ended the Cold War, but my way of thinking is we're just going to talk about these after the Cold War has already happened. Maybe bring some extra context in that you might have not remembered. So let's get into it. Unit 9. Can you believe it? We've done 10 units. This is our 10th unit of the school year. Crazy. All right, so global changes. So it's a two title note day. Unit 9, if you want to title your Unit 9 title page Global Changes, you can do so. But we're going to go back to chapter 14, which is independence and nationalism in the developing world. Developing world, basically in any place not um, the United States or Europe. So finally, talk about other places. Okay, so today we're talking about South and Southeast Asia. Quite a bit heavy on the notes today, just because, well, professionally, I've never taught this topic before, and I had to learn some new things. Well, I mean, I knew about them, but like I dove deep into it now. So that objectives, we're going to. I don't know why my warm up's not here. There's my warm up. Objectives, we're going to summarize the roles of Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, and Mother Teresa in the new India, and then we're going to identify the relationship between East and West Pakistan and the conflicts between the two. That was your warm up. Pause. Okay. India is divided. At the end of World War II, British India's Muslims and Hindus were divided. So the leaders of India decided British India would have to be divided into two countries, one Hindu, India, and one Muslim, Pakistan. Pakistan, however, consisted of two regions separated by India between them. Well, one section was West Pakistan, northwest of India. The other, East Pakistan, northeast of India. August 15th, 1947, India and Pakistan became independent. Millions of Hindus and Muslims fled across the new borders, Hindus towards India, Muslims toward Pakistan. Violence, however, will result from these mass migrations, and more than 1 million people were killed. They don't really like each other. And one of the dead was well known. His Hindu militant assassinated Mohandas Gandhi as he was going to prayer January 30th, 1948. So India's new beginning had not been easy. So this is India. All right, this is India. And this is India before. And then this is India now. Well, back in 1947, 1948. These are pictures of the more than I think the picture said like 2 million, 2 million migrants. So it's a lot of people, a lot of people live there, and that's sadly Mohandas Gandhi dead. All right, New India. So having worked close with Mohandas Gandhi for independence, Jawaharlal Nehru led the Congress Party, which was the former Indian National Congress. Nehru admired the socialist ideals of the British Labour Party. Remember, socialism, workers, labor, work. His political goal was a parliamentary government led by a prime minister, and his economic goals called for a moderate socialist economy. Under his leadership, the Indian state took ownership of many major industries, utilities, and transportation. Private enterprise was allowed at the local level, and farmland was left in private hands. The Indian government also sought to avoid dependence on foreign investment. India developed a large industrial sector, and industrial production almost tripled between 1950 to 1965. That's Nehru is on the left. That's obviously Gandhi on the right. That's the Indian National Congress flag, symbol, insignia. All right, so nonchalant. Nehru also guided India's foreign policy according to a principle of non alignment. You need to know it. Non alignment, it is going to be on your final, was concerning with the military conflict between the United States and Soviet Union and the influence of former colonial powers. Nehru refused to align India with either Warsaw Pact or NATO. Instead, he joined other developing countries in the idea that they should not take sides in the growing Cold War. After Nehru's death, the Congress Party selected his daughter, Indira Gandhi, as prime minister. Now, FYI, they are not related. Indira Gandhi is related to Nehru. Indira Gandhi is not related to Mohandas Gandhi. She held office for most of the time between 1966 and 1984. India faced many problems during this time. In the 50s and 60s, India's population grew by 2% a year, contributing to widespread poverty. Millions lived in the vast city slums. It was in the slums of Kolkata, aka Calcutta, that Mother Teresa, a Catholic nun, helped the poor, the sick, and the dying people there. So this is a picture of the countries in the non-alignment pact. Nehru's right here. These three we're going. I think this is Sukarno from the Philippines. I think this is Eastern European leader. I think this is Egypt's leader, and I forget what countries he's from, but might be Ghana because they are founding countries. So I think that's Slobodan Milosevic right here. Sukarno from Indonesia. You got I don't know his name. But this is the non-alignment movement. That's Indira Gandhi. Problem. So growing ethnic and religious strife present another major problem. One conflict involved Sikhs. Sikhs are followers of a religion founded in the mid 15th century in northern India. Sikhs live in a region known as Punjab, a northwest Indian province. Militant Sikhs demanded that this province be given its independence. Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, refused and in 1984 used military force against Sikh rebels. More than 450 Sikhs were killed. Two Sikh members of her own personal bodyguard will assassinate her later that year. So Gandhi gets assassinated. Now Indira Gandhi gets assassinated. It's hot. It's hot out there. Conflict between Hindus and Muslims also continued. Religious differences between India and Pakistan fueled a long-term dispute between the two countries over the region of Kashmir. Kashmir is a territory that rests in between the two nations along their northern borders. So that's Punjab, the Punjab state. Now, we're going to get into it, but this is Kashmir up here. So A is administered by Pakistan, but it's claimed by India. B is administered by India, because that's Indian territory. C is administered by China, but it's claimed by India. All these little areas right here. And then it's administered by India, but it's claimed by China. D. Where's D? Over here. These are the militant Sikhs. That's some destruction that I looked it up. Indira Gandhi force Punjab, and those are the pictures. These are the pictures. And this is a representation of how she died. So again, more about Kashmir. So this is the Pakistan area. This is Jammu and Kashmir of India. And then this stuff is claimed by China. So all these three countries claim control. And then you got even more. So I even found more pictures and more pictures. And this is a recent photo, or this is a recent um, thing that happened in the news, I think a couple weeks ago, where there was an attack in India, in Kashmir, and the Indian government blames Pakistan, and they were trying to figure out a water treaty between the two countries, and yeah, so it's still relevant to today. All right, family. So, following the assassination of Indira Gandhi, her son Rajiv replaced his mother as prime minister. As prime minister, Rajiv began to move the government in new directions. Private enterprise was encouraged as well as foreign investment. His successors continued to transfer state run industries into private hands to rely on the free market. And this led to a noticeable growth in the middle class. Rajiv Gandhi was prime minister for only 5 years, 1984 to 1989. While campaigning for re election, he too would be assassinated. In the following years, the Congress Party lost its leadership position and had to compete with new political parties. Rajiv's widow, Sonia Gandhi, would become the next leader of the Congress Party in 1998. So that's Indira Gandhi, and that's her son, Rajiv. Now, I looked into this a lot, and these are pictures right before his assassination, and I believe it is this woman who's wearing a bomb underneath, and it was set to go off, and she's like going to shake his hand and takes a. I think it was like the trigger was taking a picture. Uh, I don't know. Like it's so interesting. If you want to type that in to your browser, and you can, it's like 15 minutes long, but I mean, it's if you don't know anything about it, it's very interesting. And this is Sonia Gandhi to Pakistan. So unlike its neighbor India, Pakistan was a completely new nation with its attained independence in 1947. The growing division between East and West Pakistan, they were separate regions with different geographical features, will cause internal conflicts. Many in East Pakistan believe that the government based in West Pakistan ignored their needs. So in 1971, East Pakistan declared itself independence from Pakistan. After a brief civil war, East Pakistan became the new nation of Bangladesh. Both Bangladesh and Pakistan, formerly West Pakistan, have remained very poor. They had a difficulty establishing stable governments. Military officials have often seized control of the civilian government in between. So East Pakistan, West Pakistan, Bangladesh. So what happened after World War II? Most states in Southeast Asia gained independence from their colonial rulers. The process varied considerably across the region. In 1946, the U.S. granted total independence to the Philippines. Great Britain was also willing to end its colonial rule in Southeast Asia. 1948, Burma became independent from Great Britain. Burma, Myanmar, right here. In the beginning, many of the leaders of the newly independent states in Southeast Asia admired Western political and economic practices. They hoped to form democratic capitalist states like those in the West. However, at the end of the 50s, hopes for rapid economic growth had failed. Internal disputes weakened the new democratic governments, opening the door to both military and one-party autocratic regimes. So this is the American flag being taken down in the Philippines. This is Burma, aka Myanmar, or well, it's called Myanmar now. Hindsight 2020. So the Netherlands, however, was less than willing than Great Britain to abandon its colonial empire in Southeast Asia, kind of like the French, in Vietnam, Indochina. So the Netherlands tried to suppress a new Indonesian republic proclaimed by one man, Ahmed Sukarno. When the Indonesian Communist Party attempted to seize power, the U.S. pressured the Netherlands to grant independence to Sukarno and his non-communist party. In 1949, the Netherlands recognized this new Republic of Indonesia. In 1950, new leaders created a parliamentary system, and Sukarno was elected the first president. But in the late 50s, Sukarno dissolved the constitution and tried to rule on his own through what he called guided democracy. Sukarno also nationalized foreign-owned enterprises and sought economic aid from China and the Soviet Union. Big red flags right there. Military officers overthrew Sukarno and will establish a military government under General Suharto. So democracy in Indonesia failed. This is the Dutch East Indies, former Dutch East Indies. That is Sukarno. This is what he formed. That is the Indonesian flag. That is General Suharto. All right. Burma, now called Myanmar, came under military control in the early 60s. The people of Myanmar continued to fight for democracy. Aung San Suu Kyi, the daughter of Aung San, who led the Burmese Independence Army in 1947, returned to Myanmar in 1988 and became involved in the movement for democracy. Her party won a landslide victory in 1990, but the military leaders refused to hand over power. In 1991, Suu Kyi won the Nobel Peace Prize for her pro-democracy efforts and was appointed state counselor in 2016. It's basically like a leader. She was like the leader of the country. She has recently been criticized for her treatment of the Rohingya people, which is a Muslim minority within the country. Did I skip something? Nope, I did not. There you go. That's Aung San. That's Aung San Suu Kyi. So Burma was renamed Myanmar to foster ethnic unity as Burma. Is seen as discarding a name handed down from its colonial past. So they didn't want to be part of that. That's why they're called Myanmar now. Indo. So the North, we've talked about this already. So 1975, the North Vietnamese Communist armies forcibly reunited Vietnam, forcibly, and begun the process of rebuilding that shattered land. The reunification of Vietnam under communist rulers had been an immediate impact on the region. By the end of 75, both Laos and Cambodia had communist governments. In Cambodia, one leader, Pol Pot, leader of the Khmer Rouge, massacred more than 1 million Cambodians. Conflict in Cambodia continued throughout the 80s. It wasn't until 1993 that Cambodians held free UN-sponsored elections. Meanwhile, the Vietnamese government, remaining suspicious of Western-style democracy, repressed any opposition to the Communist Party's guiding role over the state. That's Vietnam. Again, Vietnam and Vietnam. So this is the Vietnam War over. Ho Chi Minh, of course. That's Pol Pot. These are mass graves during 1970, 1979. The blue areas. These are pictures from dug up grave. All right, Filipinos. So in most recent years, Southeast Asian societies have shown signs of moving again towards a democratic movement. One of those is in the Philippines. President Ferdinand Marcos came to power in 1965. However, fraud and corruption came widespread in the Marcos regime. In the early 1980s, Marcos was accused of involvement in the killing of a popular leader, Benigno Aquino. His wife, Corazon Aquino, became president in 1986, right after him, and worked for democratic reforms. Nevertheless, she soon proved to be unable to solve many of the country's chronic economic and social problems. That was Ferdinand Marcos. That's Benigno Aquino's assassination. Very hard to find pictures of this. That's his wife, Corazon. Women. Across South and Southeast Asia, the rights and roles of women have changed. In India, women's rights were expanded after independence in 1947. Its Constitution of 1950 forbade discrimination on gender and called for equal pay for equal work. Child marriage was outlawed, and women were encouraged to attend school and enter the labor market. In Southeast Asia, virtually all the newly independent states granted women full legal and political rights. Women have become more active in politics and occasionally hold senior senior corp- political and corporate positions. So these are pictures of women rights movements of late in the modern day woman. And hey, that is it. Ding dong, the bell is gone. So hopefully you learned something new. You heard about something. If you heard about why, people in Pakistan and India don't get along, there's some of the start right there. Um, However brief it was. So, yeah, we're gonna stop right there. Your homework is to do page 518, 2 through 4. Page 518, 2 through 4, 2 through 4. All right. If you guys did enjoy that, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Burrs.